Guys, the prompt is the next thing. If you're not on, get on, okay?
Yeah,
So, what do you have to say to those people
yeah.
who feel themselves like, no, I cannot do this job, I can't do this, I can't do that, but they don't have money?
Bro, you just gotta be humble. Because if you're sitting down, there's people who can't do certain jobs because no, I have a degree now. There's educated people. There's people all the way with a PhD without a job. What's going to make you different with your degree, with your credits, and with your what do you call it, uh, diplomas and degrees and all that? There's people with PhDs but with no job.
Mm-hmm.
So you sometimes have to see your situation. I see almost everything as experience. You can take a low paying job. I know that push it to the max. Just work. Because if let me say were to get a chance to be an office orderly in the government, and then at the same time most of those people actually have time to even upgrade, but you're there, you're not even trying to upgrade because you actually do have papers. You're in that space. Work, just try to work and look for an opportunity. There's always going to be an open space somewhere where you can just push in. So sometimes it's also how you see. When you see an opportunity, seize it. You can't sit home saying, no, I'll just wait until I get the contract. Who's going to give you the contract if you're not pushing for it?
Yeah.
And then you're denying experience as well. Because even your CV needs to have experience somewhere. So you getting a low paying job or getting a low paying contract is all just going to jump to the experience. The like people who drive these graders and excavators and that. Most of those jobs are like 3-4 years experience, and then you just came out of school, and then you're expecting, no, my next salary should be 10,000 kwacha. How are you going to get that job without experience? So you
Yeah.
need to get the low paying for the experience, because the experience is the one thing that will matter. If reference, so how are you going to get reference without work?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I seized every opportunity I could. And I'm still seizing those opportunities to date. It's not that I'm needed or anything. I'm still seizing those opportunities to date. When I get a job and I know it's almost close to my value, I can still take it. You
Mm.
know? And I tell the people, this is how much I charge, but for you, I'll work for this, that, and I'll get the job done. Forget about it. I can't stay home broke when I can do the job.
Yeah. So how do you value yourself? Like what are some of the things you look at when giving out your value in the market?
For me, the one thing that I value the most in life is time. So I've been valuing myself from the time I started photography. I would ask people how much they charge for their businesses, uh, and I started also, I would reduce the prices. Like this a time back in 2014, I asked a couple of photographers how much were you charging for it, and at that time the photography industry wasn't as saturated as today. Today there's a lot of photographers in Zambia. Literally every person who finishes school is becoming a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's not a bad thing. Growth for the industry. So back then, I would ask people prices. You could hear funny prices. No, I only charge 100 kwacha for an unlimited session. I charge 500. You hear other people say I charge 1,000 kwacha, and I'll be like, okay, since I'm starting off, this guy has been working for this much. I'll charge myself. Maybe I'll value myself at this much because I'm starting. And that wasn't because I was downgrading myself or anything. I was degrading myself or anything. I was trying to grow.
Yeah.
At the point I'm at right now, I highly value myself. And I have people who tell me, you're too expensive. But for me, the one thing that I always say is, I'm not expensive, you get. It's not me, it's you. You're not the target market that I'm pushing. So
Yeah.
for you to say that I'm expensive is a bit of a push. 'Cause I'm working to earn a certain value as well. You can't come to me saying you want your price. This is my business. So even if a customer is always right, you can't come to me to make me change my price.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like literally going into ShopRite. You're trying to get maybe a bag of chips in ShopRite. Maybe that bag of chips is like 10 kwacha, and then you go there, you go to the cashier, and you're trying to tell them, no, I get this same bag of chips at Pick and Pay for 5 kwacha. Go to Pick and Pay. You know, you can't change someone else's value because of what you think or where you go. You look somewhere else and find that value. Why aren't you going there? But you came to me because there's something you saw. And that same thing that dragged you to me is my value.
Yeah.
So for me, I value my the quality of my work and my time as well. If that's the question.
Alright. Yeah. Sounds good. So, let's talk about partnerships. How important are partnerships for you, in like today's society? Because the thing is, you cannot work alone, you need partnership.
It's true. Okay, so I haven't really done a lot of partnerships. I've collaborated with people, yes, but for me, mainly how I've worked with people, if I'm collaborating with people, I always claim my dominance in the business. That's not to be big-headed or anything, but yeah, I always claim my dominance. If I'm going to someone, usually, if I'm bringing a contract in, I know this person and I'll tell them, hey, bro, this is what I'm working with. So I would like to make a partnership with you. And these are the terms of the business that I want to put you. This is my client. You get? So it's not like I'm going to a person like, I'm just going to give you this deal, bro. We're working on this, that. That would be killing yourself as a businessman. You just can't be giving out deals as well. So for me, I bring in contracts. If I'm working with people and I know this week is going to be bulky, I make sure I build a team. I look for someone. If I'm on graphic design, not to do photography. I want to do the videography or whatever. I'll make sure I stick to one thing and I'll work with other people. And I'll always want to work with people who are better than me. The reason why I choose to work with people, not that I'm downgrading or I'm looking down on other photographers who maybe are upcoming or all that, but the reason why I work with people better than me is because you have to work with people better than you in their field. Reason is, for that, it helps your work as well. If you focus on, no, let me look, I can't be working with people who are better than me. But at the end of the day, yes, you're looking for a certain quality. Your business will grow if you work with people better than you. If I book someone else, the credit is still coming to my company. So if I'm trying to, if I use spite and I'm trying to think, this guy is better than me, what, I'm taking stuff to the heart. You can never use the heart for business. That's why you have to use your brain. For me, I'm working with someone, I always choose someone better than me. I always, if I've got video work nowadays, like I've been getting some video work. I know I've got certain guys that I've been using, and I only choose those guys because I know their work is standard, and I know that if I make them work with me, my work will look the same standard. That if their work is better than mine and they work under me, that means my work is also good.
Yeah, so you're complimenting each other.
Yes, you're literally complimenting each other at the end of the day. They're getting paid. They're not crying for a forced credit. Because at the end of the day, I also see what's the use to cry for credit when you're getting paid. There's certain stuff that you can, it's right that you get your credit. But if you do a corporate work, bro, there's literally no credit you're going to cry for. Corporate work, you won't see people's titles. You won't see an ad with credits at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't. People for music production, yes, you can cry for credit. No, I produced the song, he didn't put credit. I know that, but it's just a song anyway. If you got paid, there's literally no need. I've got a friend, maybe you've heard of him, Chase Iron. He produces music for even international artists. He's been producing music for a while, and he does not have a tag. I don't see the point. For me, I want to grow to a certain extent where certain things do not bother me.
Yeah,
the stuff that still bothers me. I needed the credit. What? Reference is what you need, bro. You don't need credit. You need reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's talk
It's not
about
like
misunderstandings.
yeah.
So what happens
It's
when
a
you have a
misunderstanding.
misunderstanding?
People don't get.
No, like let's say when you have a partnership with someone, right? And then there's something wrong
Yeah.
that happens. How do you deal with it in order to maintain the partnership? That kind of thing.
Okay, so I've never really had a misunderstanding with anyone because I've always worked with a contract. I have a contract that I can even share with you later on. But yeah, I've always had a contract that I usually give out to people who I'm working with just to avoid certain misunderstandings. I'll make sure I give you the contract in enough time before we do any job together so that we don't have any misunderstandings because contracts are very important, and people might misunderstand. If you, what's this, a verbal contract is very dangerous because you're able to change. I might say something today and still change it unless it was maybe being recorded or something like that. Maybe then you can use that as evidence. But if we just say, today, you do some work for me and I'll be paying you 5,000 kwacha. And then at the end of the month, I give you 2,500 after you've done the job. You come to me, what, and I'll be, when I'm unfair, it's not that really unfair or anything. You have to be smart. That's business. You have to be clean. You need to make sure everything you have is in documents.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be on paper. That's how business is nowadays. Everything has to be on paper.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because if the person end up stealing from you and know that everything business has to be beneficial. So if I give you my contract, if you think it's not beneficial, instead of us canceling the business, we try to fit the contract to your terms as well. We see what you're comfortable with, and at the end of the day, we work. We forget about it. We get our pays and all that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's talk about timing, right? Because like obviously you go to different events and stuff like that. Is there a time that you missed an event and then it costed you something, or what happened?
Yeah, definitely. I have experienced times when Uh, first, let me explain the heaviest before I actually explain anything else. So in 2019, I was working with Orange Events that time, and I was sent to shoot mostly deals. And whilst in Livingston, we experienced a carjacking, a car break-in. Someone broke into the car and they stole my equipment. So there was my personal equipment there, and there was the company's equipment as well. So that's literally everything that I worked for, and I can't count that as something that was beneficial. It was a great loss to my business, even more than the company's business, because I lost more equipment than the company did. Yeah. So for me, I also saw that it was a loss. It wasn't beneficial at all because, as compared to a salary, and I compare my salary to what's this, my equipment was worth more than that and was going to bring me more money. So that was a loss instantly. But right now I'm still working on recovering, getting the stuff that I had back then. It's not the same, but yeah, it's business. You move on, and another thing that I'll give out advice, people, every time you get equipment, you have to insure it. Make sure to insure your stuff. Because when you make a loss, it's crazy. You're not going to recover from that easily. I'm still trying to recover, and that was 2019.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for the company, the was insured, so I'm pretty sure. I left them, but I'm pretty sure by now they have gotten another camera.
All right.
Yeah, and then the next, and another thing right now, it has cost me before many times at events, where the only misunderstanding you can have is mostly with people, like maybe people with weddings. I know that, and that's where I firmly believe it's important to have your own transportation. Logistics are very important. Logistics on transport and all that are very, very important because you're going to be stranded one day because if you don't calculate all those moves,
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had experiences where I've gone to an event. Maybe I'm shooting a wedding, and after that, maybe the bride or groom tell me, "No, you have to go with my relative. They'll drop you off." All right, and I'll be like, these are the costs that I try to put in my budget, but I'm comfortable. So at the end of the day, I know if I'm done shooting, I'll just get on a cab, or if maybe because most of the time I'll use my parents' car. So there's days when I'll just account for gas, and I'll just account for gas. Definitely, I'll drive home after the event. But that's also crazy because sometimes there are those couples that won't include that, or there's people who just say, no, why can't you put that in your pay or whatnot. And it becomes rough because they're not paying you everything at the end of the day. And there's certain things that you're trying to get before the event to shoot their event, and at the end of the day, that's now more costs on you.
Yeah.
So that's why people's pricing sometimes it's also to cut off on certain unnecessary stuff like transportation and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've defended before because of such things where a couple tells you have to go with our relative after the event, and immediately after I'm done with the event, because for me, when I'm done shooting an event, I don't want to sit down, I don't want to eat their food, I just want to leave. That's just how it is for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had the experience where I shot an event, I was shooting a wedding, and immediately when I was done, I told the bride like I'm done, so I need to go, and she was like, "No, I already told my cousin. Like I told you before, my cousin will be dropping you off." And after that, I went to the cousin who was supposed to drop me off. So this lady, I go to her and I'm telling her, "Oh, your cousin, the bride told me you're the one who's supposed to drop me off," and she's like, "Oh yes, you're the one. I'm the one who's supposed to drop me off. But anyway, since I'm the one with the car, you wait." And I
Damn.
was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" you know, I've not that I felt embarrassed. I was pissed, but I didn't show it obviously. But I was just there wondering, like, so is this how it feels? When you're in that space, you have a car, know that this is how you treat people. But anyway, I looked at it and like everything comes with time. God has a reason why He didn't give me a car then or now. Well, I kept it calm then, and no, I didn't. I had money on me, but I didn't account for all that stuff. Those are losses now. I had to start paying for a cab and whatnot. That's why I called my trusted cab driver. He came to pick me up, and I went home. After the event, the next day, the bride called me asking, "No, did my what's come to get you? What?" And she was with the bride at the time. And I was like, "No, she didn't get me. She told me she's the driver, she has the car, so I should wait. And I had important things to do." So, that was an inconvenience on my part. And then I hear them even shouting at each other. I'm like, no, there's no need to shout at each other. She's just the point. That's her car. You can't stress about those things. So those are losses sometimes. So there's certain things that I'll just advise to always account for logistics in one.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to say, and where can people reach you?
People can reach me on that. There's not much that I can say. I guess I've spoken my mind. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole, I've spoken my mind. And if there's anyone who can want to reach me, or I usually give out advice. I've come to find out that people have been open to me, and people always ask me questions, and I'm always quick to answer. Yeah, me and you have had these conversations before. You've asked me questions sometimes, and yeah, that's just how it is with almost everyone. I'm an open book, so people can feel free to ask me questions whenever they can. But you can reach me through Facebook or Instagram, even Twitter. But yeah, my Facebook is Mukongora Gregory Chishala. My page is Chocolate Boy. That's for my production. And then for photography, it's Lyrical Photography and Lyrical Creative Studios. The 2 pages for that, because there's 2 different things that are happening on both pages.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, it's Chocolate Bangers. Yeah, so there, that's my artist page, and it's also my production page. So most people who reach me there are artists.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for helping me share my story.
Yeah, no problem.